Howdy folks, I'm Polite Persephone, pleasantly prodding pretty petals.
I'm Amber.
And here are more pretty petals for us to prod. That's all we do on this channel is we prod petals, so let's get started on doing that. And folks, don't miss tea time today. We have a special announcement, so wait around until the end there and you'll get to hear the special announcement. Alright folks, and our first letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Deleting a Few Sentences from My Wife's Manuscript? My wife's a mechanic, but she also writes books as a side hustle. Before you come at me for messing with her livelihood, you should know that she doesn't make much money from these books. She's published 2 books and is working on her 3rd. One day, when she was out, I was on her computer. Yes, I have permission to use her computer when I'm too lazy to get up and grab mine. Anyways, it was open to her manuscript, and I had a sudden urge to delete a sentence and see if she would notice. So I picked a random sentence and I deleted it. Well, the next day, she didn't say anything. So I wondered how many sentences would I have to delete before she actually noticed. So over the next few weeks, I deleted 1 sentence a day, always from different places in the document. She had like over 30,000 words, so it wasn't like I was deleting that much of the document, maybe a few hundred words in total. Well, one day, I sat down on the couch with her after dinner. She was frantically scrolling through her document. I asked her what was wrong, and she said that something must have gone wrong because there were parts that she remembered writing that weren't there anymore. I said that I was sorry that happened, and maybe her Word program had glitched when it was trying to save her work. I gave her a hug, and that was that. I probably should have stopped there, but something came over me. I left her document alone for a few days, but then I went back to deleting 1 sentence a day. After a few days, she broke down in tears, saying that she must be losing her mind. She had switched over to Google Docs because that was supposed to have autosave, but she was still missing sentences, and she could have sworn that she wrote them. I was starting to feel bad, but I couldn't let her know what I had done at this point. So I gave her a hug and I told her that maybe she should take a break from writing for a few days until she had time to clear her head. When I woke up the next morning, she was already gone, but some of her stuff was gone too. I found a note from her on the fridge saying that she had gone to stay with her sister. Apparently Google Docs tracks changes. And that night, after we talked, she had gone into the document history and noticed that the sentences had been deleted by someone when she wasn't home. And the only one who could have done it was me. I just tried to explain to her that I didn't mean any harm, but I couldn't help myself. She's not listening. She said that I made her feel like she was going crazy and that I had deleted her hard work. But it was only a few sentences. She's acting like I deleted the whole thing. So tell me, Reddit, am I really in the wrong here? All right, folks, what do you think?
Centrifuge. Instant centrifuge for OP. I mean, that is like one of the worst things you can do to a writer. Like the pain and frustration of like losing even just a few sentences when your document doesn't save properly. But no, it's not actually your document's not saving. It's your partner who's supposed to love and support you, who's going through and like deleting random sentences. I mean, that's such a horrible thing to do.
I don't know what's wrong with this. I delete sentences out of Amber's manuscript all the time.
Yeah, if you did, I would be very unhappy. It would be a very, very bad time.
I kind of do, though, because I'm like,
there's a difference between editing. There's a huge difference between editing, because like when you edit, you're making the manuscript better. When you're deleting the random sentences, you lose context. You lose important stuff.
Yeah. Well, I think that he has been caught red-handed, and, you know, he could have fessed up the first time and said, oh, I was trying to test to see how long it would take for you to notice, and I backed up your document, so these sentences are actually still there. It still wouldn't have been good.
Yeah, it wouldn't have been good, but it would have been like less terrible. But no, instead, like he actually wholly deleted them, and also then gaslighted her about it.
Yeah, not great. Not a great look. All right, folks, but let's see what the Wheel of Judgment has to say. Wheel of Judgment, turn, turn, turn. Tell us the judgment that OP's earned. Definitely the jerk.
I mean, yeah, I can go with that.
Yeah, definitely the jerk indeed. All right, folks, and our next letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Lying About Being Colorblind and Winning a Bet? I'm a 19-year-old female, and I have a friend, Shanna, who is a 19-year-old female as well. I've known her since kindergarten. Before I started school, I was learning my colors, and I found out that my dad was red-green colorblind. I looked up to him a lot and felt bad that he couldn't see all the colors. So to be more like him, I pretended to be red-green colorblind too. In reality, I've never had a hard time telling colors apart. When I started kindergarten, I kept pretending that I was colorblind. This is where Shanna comes into the picture. When I told her that I was red-green colorblind, she didn't believe me, so she tested me on the difference between red and green, and I would always pretend like I couldn't tell the difference. From there, Shanna always made a big deal of it to other people that I was colorblind, and she basically made it a core of my personality when she introduced me to other people. Like, this is my friend OP, she is colorblind. Because of that, I never really felt that I could come clean to her, and I kinda just got typecast into the colorblind friend. Recently, Shanna got a new boyfriend, Kurt. He's okay, but I never really had a good feeling about him. The other night, we were all having drinks at Shanna's place, not in the US, so we can drink at 18, and Kurt was in a competitive mood. I kept beating him at cards, and he got pretty annoyed by that. But then, he got this mad grin on his face and asked if I wanted to win $20. Long story short, he wanted to play a game where I would guess whether a card was red or green, and if I was right, he would give me $20. But if I was wrong, I would have to give him $20. I told him I wasn't interested, but Shanna insisted, and I finally caved. Well, Kurt started off by showing me a green card, and I guessed green. Kurt immediately tells me that I'm wrong and that it was red. Miffed, I looked at Shanna, but she says, sorry OP, it's red. I got mad and told Shanna that I knew they were both lying because I wasn't actually colorblind, and that I was sick of her parading it around like it was my only characteristic. Shanna didn't believe me, so I grabbed the cards from Kurt and I sorted them into red and green piles. Shanna got mad and then kicked me out. Later, I got a text from her saying that I owed her an apology and $20 in retribution for the lies, tricking her and Kurt and trying to take advantage of them. I don't really have anyone to turn to because I feel like a lot of folks are going to be hurt to find out that I'm not actually colorblind. So I'm turning to you, Reddit. Am I the jerk for lying about this for so long? All right, folks, what do you think?
I mean, this one is a little tricky for me. Like, OP should have come clean sooner, but definitely Shauna and her boyfriend are like the big, big jerks in this situation. You know, like, how cruel to try to use someone's disability to scam them out of money. Like, that is a low blow.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty terrible to be like, oh, and Shanna went along with it too,
Well,
which is the worst
that's it. Like,
part,
she's
right?
not a good friend. Like, if your friend is willing to scam you for profit, they're not a friend.
Yeah, and I mean, I think like, I don't know what her deal is, but the fact that now she's being like, OP, you actually owe me $20 because you lied to me.
Probably because boyfriend's like, she owes us $20. Like, I mean, it doesn't sound like Shauna was a good friend to begin with, but it sounds like with the boyfriend, she's now like
Even
a worse friend.
Yeah. Well, I think that's, you know, it's probably bringing out the worst in her, and Kurt doesn't really sound like necessarily the best influence on people, and OP doesn't get a good feeling about Kurt, and here Kurt then kind of is like, oh, by the way, hey, you wanna, he's all butthurt because he's kept losing at cards, and now he's like, oh, well, I'll get mine in the end, and to steal $20 from OP because he got annoyed that he couldn't win at cards. I mean, it's pretty petty and immature, you know? But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. Alright folks, and our next letter is titled, Am I a jerk for tucking a spider into bed? I'm a 25-year-old male, and I'm a huge animal lover. So much so that I try to save worms from sidewalks, I don't swat mosquitoes, and save spiders from certain doom. About 3 weeks ago, I was showering when I discovered a spider had climbed in with me and was half drowned. I turned off the shower, dried it off with the help of a dehumidifier, and slowly it came back to life. Now, I didn't know how much damage had been done to the little gal, and we don't really have any ecospheres in the house, so I decided that for now, we could give the spider her own little home in my girlfriend's dollhouse. Still half drowned and probably a little frightened, I transported Spinderella to her new home and tucked her into the doll bed with the small sheet of toilet paper that I was using to carry her. I showed my girlfriend, and she thought that it was the cutest thing ever. Well, fast forward to yesterday, Spinderella had been living peacefully in her new home ever since. My girlfriend had some friends over, and my girlfriend showed them Spinderella and the dollhouse. While one of her friends thought that it was nice that I had saved the spider, they were all in agreement that it was kind of creepy to keep the spider in the dollhouse like that, and they thought it was akin to something that a serial killer would do. Am I the jerk or even creepy for saving this spider and giving it a new home? All right, folks, what do you think?
absolutely not the jerk. This is super cute and wholesome. And like, what is wrong with these friends? Like, it's not any different than moving the spider into any other space in the house. You know, like, why is putting it in a dollhouse a bad thing?
I don't know. I mean, I think maybe they're like, well, this is kind of like, someone like, because there's like that weird stereotype that like adult men who play with dolls or something like that might be creepy or something like that. But I mean, I think that they're reading way too much into this, and I
Yeah.
think that Opie is being compassionate, and
Mm-hmm.
they don't need to tear them down just because they're, being compassionate and giving the spider a place to live.
Well, and that's the thing is like the spider, like again, if you put it on your ceiling, like you still like it's the exact same thing. And so,
Hmm.
she's got her own little home and it's so cute and I love it.
Yeah. So I don't think that OP is wrong for keeping Spinderella and in a nice little dollhouse, right?
I love the name too. So cute.
But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. Alright folks, and our next letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Feeding My Husband Bigfoot Meat? I know, clickbait title, but you're already here, so you might as well keep reading. I love my husband, Greg, to pieces, but he is about the most gullible person in the entire planet. You can tell him the most ridiculous thing, and he will buy it hook, line, and sinker. Like, I once convinced him that early humans had their feet on backwards so that when they were walking, predators couldn't sneak up on them. Maybe it's wrong, but I just find it absolutely hilarious to mess with him. Recently, our neighbors a few houses down gave me some venison that the husband had gotten from hunting, and I used some of it to make some sloppy joes. Greg was saying that the meat seemed a little tougher than usual, and I said, yeah, that's because it's Bigfoot meat. Now, he's so used to me messing with him that he really didn't initially believe me. So I told him that I would have the next door neighbor text him a picture of the kill. Neighbor, we'll call him Joe, has the same sense of humor that I do. I texted Joe, and he was immediately game. He took one of the pictures that he got with the deer and photoshopped Bigfoot instead. Greg totally bought it and started getting upset at me because I fed him Bigfoot meat without him knowing, and he wouldn't have eaten it if he had known. I kept it together for like 5 minutes, but then I lost it and just started laughing hysterically and told him that it was a joke and that it was really deer meat. He thought that I was just lying about the deer meat so that he wouldn't feel bad. Eventually, I had Joe come over and show the real picture, and I think he finally got through to Greg. But now he's still sulking and saying that you shouldn't mess with someone's food. I don't know. I thought that it was hilarious, but it's been like a week and he's barely talking to me still. But he knows how I am, so it's kind of his fault for being gullible enough to believe something so ridiculous. Am I the jerk, or can he just not take a joke? All right, folks, what do you think?
Yeah, OP, you are a major jerk here. I mean, I'm someone who is a little bit gullible myself, and so sometimes Brian will try and pull one over on me, but he always tells me pretty quickly.
Mm-hmm.
And like tricking someone into believing something they ate something that they wouldn't have consented to is not a cool thing to do. You do not tamper with people's food, and it sounds like her whole attitude in general is just, oh well, he's gullible, so I can't help but mess with him. You can. You are choosing to mess with him.
Yeah, I mean, I think that OP is choosing to mess with them, so that it's not very good on their part, and maybe they need to be a little kinder to their husband and reveal their pranks, sooner when they happen. Although they did kind of like reveal it in the moment.
Yeah, but you gotta be careful what you joke about, like you don't want to mess with someone's food.
Yeah. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. All right, folks, it is tea time. Grab your beverages of choice. I've got some tea right here, and Amber, she has a joke and an announcement.
So, what might you call a spring court jester?
You would call a spring court jester an April Fool.
Right, and we have a very special day for you today. It is April Fool's Day.
Well, happy April Fools, folks. All of these stories were not real.
Yes, they were all manufactured by us.
Yes.
You can guess whose story is whose.
Yeah, yes. You can try to guess. I mean, I think technically they're all your
They
story.
were all my brain children, but I wrote two of them with my own grubby little. Well, I guess I didn't use my hands. I used speech to text, but
Yeah, so I wrote two, and then Amber wrote two, and yeah. I wrote the spider one, and I wrote the lying about being colorblind.
yes, and I of course was then I've forgotten what my stories were, but the other two were me.
Bigfoot meat and the
Yeah, Bigfoot meat and deleting sentences from my wife's manuscript.
yeah.
So
So we hope you enjoyed these stories that you won't find anywhere else. And I have the special guest tea, some matcha. All right, folks, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for watching. Happy April 1st, folks. Wonderful Wednesday, hump day.
Yes, happy hump day, happy April Fool's Day, happy Friday, Junior Eve.
Amber, we need some kind of moral advice and or guidance, and please have it on pranks.
Pranks should be funny to everyone involved. If your person you're pranking is not having a good time, then you're doing the pranking wrong.
But thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you all tomorrow.
Bye!